Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller series called Dark Desire from 2020. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The 13th episode opens with two boys running and playing in the forest. They find a police badge in the dirt. One boy named Brian starts running inside the jungle but stumbles onto something and falls down. The other boy comes looking for him but sees something. The scene changes, and Esteban is walking inside a warehouse. Meanwhile, Alma is calling Esteban, but he is not picking up. Dario is now on screen. He calls someone and tells them that he was told his uncle is hospitalized there, but it seems like he got the wrong information. He cuts the call and sits on his computer. Alma is seen again telling the doctors that her brother-in-law was supposed to be there, but she doesn't know what happened. She signs all the files and says thanks. The doctor also thanks her and greets her goodbye. Alma then looks behind the glass at unconscious Leonardo, who's lying in a hospital bed. The scene changes and Zoe is walking down the roads. She gets flashbacks of her moments spent with Dario. She also remembers what her dad told her about her mom cheating on him, her getting dragged away by her mom from the pool when she was there with Dario. Zoe then enters a bar to meet with Karina. Karina comes and gives her a big hug. She gives Zoe her phone back and wishes her birthday. Zoe tells her thank you and both of them hug again. The story goes back to Dario, who is calling Polanco Medical Center, and tells them that he is a family member of Leonardo, and he was told that Leonardo was hospitalized there. He asks them, but nothing. Dario gets a text from Zoe. Meanwhile, Karina asks Zoe why she is texting him again, as she thought Dario was already a history to her. Karina asks her to tell her what's going on with her. Zoe texts Dario that she knows that he is there, and she needs him. She requests Dario to answer. The background changes to Esteban, who is telling Alma why he was late. He tells her that Vallejo called him and wanted to meet to give him the evidence from Brenda's case. That's why he had to leave, but Vallejo never came to the place they agreed to meet. Alma asks him if he has called the Morelos police station. Esteban replies that he did, and even called Vallejo in his home too, but he is nowhere to be found. So he started to think that the same person who took Brenda's body could have also taken Vallejo and all the evidence. Alma asks him if he has any suspects. Esteban tells her that it obviously couldn't have been Dario, as he doesn't have the contacts or the connections to make a body disappear, let alone a police officer. But Esteban can't get something out of his mind. He tells Alma that Edith told him before Leonardo started feeling sick, he was going through Brenda's files. Alma tells him that Leonardo has been hospitalized since yesterday, so how could he order Vallejo's murder or disappearance? Esteban tells her that Leonardo could have done it before because of finding out that Vallejo had taken the evidence. Esteban then picks up a call. The caller tells him to check his emails and he thanks the caller for their help. He cuts the call and tells Alma that he asked his friend for Leonardo's call record on the night that Brenda died. Alma doesn't understand, and Esteban shows her on his phone that Leonardo got a message from Brenda at exactly 16:55, and that's 6 minutes after Dario left. Leonardo calls her a minute later. Esteban asks her if she understands what this means. Alma doesn't reply to anything. The scene cuts to Leonardo. Zoe is standing in front of Leonardo's bed. She thinks about what happened to Dario's dad, who was charged with a crime he didn't commit because of a corrupt prosecutor officer. Zoe starts crying and kisses Leonardo on the forehead. Meanwhile, Dario goes to Nancy's office. Nancy tells him that she thought he wouldn't continue the class, but Dario tells her that he changed his mind. He tells her that Alma doesn't have any problem with it and asks whether Alma is there. Nancy asks him if he hasn't heard about Alma's husband being hospitalized. Dario tells her that he didn't. The scene changes to Karina as she sits with Zoe and asks how her dad is doing. Zoe replies that he is the same as a zombie. Karina is annoyed that Zoe is still texting Dario, but Zoe tells her that he has to open his chat at some point. Karina doesn't understand why Zoe cares about Dario, as it would be better if she forgets him. The story comes back to Dario, who receives the hospital address from Nancy. He gets a text from Zoe requesting him as her dad is very ill. Dario texts her back asking what's wrong with Leonardo. Zoe replies that he is in a coma and they don't know if he will wake up. Dario tells her that he would love to be with her, but he can't because he is out of town in Puerto Vallarta to see his mom. Zoe tells Karina that he is in Puerto Vallarta, but she doesn't buy it. Zoe then shows Karina Dario's GPS location on her phone. The story comes back to Esteban and Alma. Alma tells him that just because Leonardo called Brenda doesn't mean he went there. Esteban reminds her that she saw him in the video footage. But Alma defends that they are not sure whether it's Leonardo or not. Esteban again requests her to remember what Leonardo did that night. Alma tells him that she doesn't remember because she fell asleep. He then asks if Leonardo was sleeping with her that night, and Alma again replies that she doesn't know. Esteban realizes that she is covering for Leonardo. Alma stops Esteban and says that she doesn't think Leonardo had anything to do with Brenda, and reminds him the last time she suspected Leonardo of cheating with Edith, it turned out to be nothing. Esteban tells her that he is his brother, but even so, they have to stop fooling themselves. Alma states to him that Leonardo didn't kill Brenda, and asks why he would do that. Esteban breaks it to her that they were lovers. Meanwhile, Edith is in Leonardo's office looking at Brenda's files. She gets a call from Morelos police station from Garcia, and she wants to speak to Leonardo. Edith tells her that he is not here, but she could talk to her as she is his assistant. But Garcia wants to talk to Leonardo directly. Edith tells Garcia that she will inform him. The story comes back to Esteban as he is telling Alma that 10 years ago, Leonardo confessed to him about this affair as a temporary thing. But Esteban thinks there was more than this, as both of them had so many things in common. Alma asks what things, but Esteban tells her that he won't tell as this might put her at risk. Alma tells him to be honest and answer why Leonardo would kill Brenda. Esteban agrees to tell her and theorizes that Leonardo gets a text from Brenda, and he calls her back 1 minute later. Leonardo reaches Brenda's house at 22:19. Brenda has to warn him about Dario's visit. She tells him that Dario knows everything about how she falsely accused his father. Leonardo tells her to calm down. He asks if Dario told her this, or if she is just assuming. Brenda tells him that she doesn't know, but they have to tell Alma about everything that happened 10 years ago. But Leonardo couldn't allow Brenda to talk. He also knows how to perfectly commit a crime and make it look like a suicide. Esteban requests Alma to promise him that she won't tell this to anyone, especially not to Zoe. He tells her to be safe about the places she visits and the people she talks to, and also to change her routine. He warns her that she might be followed too. Alma starts crying and Esteban comforts her. Flashbacks start, and Brenda is asking Leonardo if he feels guilty about what he did. Leonardo replies that he had to do this to protect his family. Brenda asks him then why they were there, and Leonardo replies that because Leslie's body was found there. Brenda asks him why he told her to do this, and he replies that otherwise Alma was going to find out about them. The flashback ends, and Alma is crying and looking at the unconscious Leonardo. Meanwhile, Zoe is tracking where Dario is going and gets up. The story comes back to Dario, who is requesting Alma at the hospital parking lot to listen to him. Zoe also comes to the place following Dario. Dario addresses Alma as his love and keeps requesting to listen to him. But Alma rejects him and tells him not to call her that. He forcefully kisses Alma. Zoe comes to the parking lot and sees them kissing. She runs away, seeing this. Dario tells Alma to get out of this place as they need to talk. Alma tells him that not here. Meanwhile, Zoe is crying in the restroom. The scene shifts to Alma, who is at her home now. She searches everything and finds the jacket Leonardo wore to Brenda's house that night. She then remembers that Zoe told her she lost that green jacket. She also saw the jacket in Leonardo's hand when he came back and in the shower too. The scene changes, and Zoe is confronting Dario in his garage. She asks him what's happening between him and her mom. She asks whether she is inside now. She then starts punching him, and he requests her to listen to him. Dario pulls her up and takes her inside. The background changes, and Garcia and Esteban are in the forest with other officers investigating a crime scene. They find the dead body of Vallejo there. Garcia also shows him the suspected remains of Brenda beside Vallejo's body. The story goes back to Dario. He gives Zoe a cup of tea to drink. Zoe doesn't accept the tea and asks how long he has been having an affair with Alma. Zoe tells him to answer if he has been intimating with her mom or not. Dario replies that he did, but that's over now. She asks when he contacted her first and whether he was with her mom then. She then realizes that Dario was in the hotel on her mom and dad's anniversary. She thinks that he went there to pick her up, and Dario tries to calm her down. She asks him if he was pretending to be her secret admirer when he was being intimate with her mother. Dario tells her that he had to know what her dad did to his dad. But Zoe asks what about the things he did to her and her mom. Zoe mocks him that this is his way of seeking justice, and he tells her that he had no other way of approaching their family. Zoe reminds him that he had intercourse with her mom and her and treated them like inflatable dolls. Dario gets up and confronts her, saying that his father was killed twice, so he had to find justice. Zoe asks him how she would get justice. She mocks him, saying that he used her to mess with her dad, but didn't even achieve it. Zoe tells him that she is the only one he is successful in messing with. Dario tries to calm her, but she tells him to not touch. He then grabs her and asks if she thinks that she is the only one suffering and tells her that he is being used too. Her mom made him stray from his objectives and forget his dad. He tells Zoe that he is also suffering the consequences because he fell in love. He tells her to forgive him because she was just an innocent victim. Zoe pours a glass of water on him and leaves. The scene changes and the bodies are being taken away from the crime scene. Esteban asks Garcia whether she has told anyone about all of this regarding Brenda and Vallejo. She replies that she wanted to talk to his brother, but he warns her not to talk to him. The episode ends with Esteban warning Garcia that their lives are in danger, and this crime scene was a message for them. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.